So sit relaxed, take off your glasses, clasp your hands, fingers into fingers, cross your legs and close your eyes. Observe your normal, natural breath. What happens when we observe our natural breath? Thoughts disappear. A meditative state is a state of no thoughts. And that happens by observing one's own natural breath. We don't need any external support to reach a meditative state. We need only breath with which we came onto this earth plane. We don't need any images, any God's images. We don't need. We don't need any mantras. If we need them, we should have born. The nature should have sent us. With a statue in our hand or with a paper with a mantra written. It is not the case. That is why nature had sent us just with the breath. It is simple to understand. Why do we take lifetimes together to understand such simple things? Isn't it easier, simpler? Yes, it is. So we all need to connect to our own breath. That is all needed. Our breath is our savior. Our breath is our path. Our breath is our guru. Our breath is everything. Normal, natural breath. We'll have some nice music. We simply observe the breath. Mhm. Slowly and gradually become aware of your surroundings and your physical body. Last 10 seconds. You may now place your hands over your eyes. Whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes and take off your hands. You may also choose to stay back with your closed eyes as I read about Maharshi Mahesh Yogi. Mahesh Prasad Verma was born on 12th January 1970 in Chichli near Gadwara in Madhya Pradesh. Mahesh Yogi took a monumental decision to leave home, become a monk. In the year 1941, he became a disciple of Swami Brahmananda Saraswati soon after his university studies. In the year 1953, Maharshi moved to Uttarkashi in the Valley of the Saints in the Himalayas, where his own master had lived in the previous decades with his master, Sri Krishnananda Saraswati. In the year 1955, Maharshi left Uttarkashi and began publicly teaching what he states is a traditional meditation technique that he learned from his master, which he called transcendental meditation. In the year 1957, he began the spiritual regeneration movement. Maharshi toured many Southeast Asian countries like Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, island of Hawaii, and from there on to America. Let's go more into details. Mahesh Prasad Verma was born on Friday, 12th January 1917, into a comfortably well-off family, the third of four children. He was of the Kshatriya caste, with his father believed to have been a minor official in the Department of Forestry. He was born in the village of Chichli near Gadwara, 150 kilometers east of Bhopal in the state of Madhya Pradesh. Mahesh received an education which is above average. Evidently, he showed a certain promise in the scientific disciplines, although, as with many other students, the ancient language of Sanskrit posed difficulties for him. Offered the rare opportunity to engage in higher education, he undertook degree courses in both physics and mathematics at Allahabad University. There, the acquisition of so much information only accentuated his hunger for deeper fulfillment. I was completely dissatisfied with what I studied in the college because I knew this can't be the whole knowledge. I was searching for something complete whereby I could understand everything. This is what he said. One day, someone in the street whispered to me, "There has come a great saint, but he does not want to be known by people. If you wish, then we shall go quietly one night." I said, There could be nothing better than that. As a thirsty man arrives at a well, so I arrived at the feet of my master. The quest of a perfect master was there. The first sight of his personality was enough to make me surrender at his feet. He was the most highly revered sage in India and was held as the embodiment of divine consciousness. Maharshi then described his first version of Gurudev in the deep darkness of the night, illumined only by a brief flash of light from a car some distance away. But that glimpse was all that was needed. In that one moment, the whole life was surrendered. Mahesh announced his intention of leaving home to become a disciple to Gurudev. This monumental decision to become a monk and renounce his kith and kin and presumably all prospects of a lucrative career apparently threw his family into great confusion. Swami Brahmananda Saraswati insisted that before accepting Mahesh as a disciple, he must fulfill two preconditions. He should complete his studies at university, and more importantly, he should receive parental permission before joining him. His father listened to Brahmananda Saraswati with extreme reservations, but at a length reluctantly consented to his son's departure. Mahesh's uncle, Raj, offered this insight into his nephew's enthusiasm and commitment for his new life with Brahmananda Saraswati. He came to the ashram as a youth bubbling over with mirth, full of energy and joy of living. He became so devoted to his master in everything. At night, he lay down outside Gurudev's door. It was in the deep functioning of my heart and mind, feeling and understanding, to just go in the direction he wanted me to go. This way or that way, or that way or that way. Very precious activities sometimes I had to completely abandon because I thought his mind was going that way and I adjusted myself to that and that. There was quite a period of tests, but somehow it happened that I just came through all them. Action I took as a means of communicating to him in order to be able to adjust to his thought. This way, in very trifling things. This way. So all the time adjusting to his feelings, thinking. I remember it took me about 2.5 years to really adjust myself. Right from the beginning, the whole purpose was to just breathe in his breath. That was my idea. The whole purpose was just to attune myself with Gurudev, and that was all that I wanted to do. Just about 2.5 years for my thoughts to be mainly flowing in tune with his. How much perfectly? There was no way to measure, but I knew I was making very, very rare mistakes. No mistakes almost. And from there on, for me, the whole thing was very light and beautiful, no obstacles, clear in everything. Then I was living around him without even feeling that I was living. It's a very genuine feeling of complete oneness with Gurudev, just like that. People who have seen me moving with Gurudev know I was not as if in this isolated single body or something. There was something of a universal value. And what I did from my side was, just on that first glimpse of the flashy light on him, my life was surrendered. Brahmachari Mahesh appears to have become so well attuned to his master's thoughts that he took it upon himself to become his private secretary and dealt with the majority of his correspondence without recourse to his Gurudev. Sometimes he would even be sent to some distant village or town to lecture on the scriptures. Mahesh's uncle Raj says, I can say straight out that Maharshi was Gurudev's favorite disciple, and no wonder few are capable of such work and few have such unending loyalty. Hours before Shankaracharya Swami Brahmananda Saraswati's death, he allegedly summoned Brahmachari Mahesh and explained to him that as a dying father's unfinished business is dealt with by his sons, the same is true for the Guru and his Chela. He directed him thus: look around. Many people are dejected. There is a lack of energy in their minds. Their minds are not strong enough. What I have taught you also contains the knowledge of the technique for the householder, which has been misinterpreted and forgotten during the centuries. Don't think of money for traveling here and there. Don't worry and don't be afraid of being alone. And don't be anxious about anything. Begin working and everything will go by itself. I repeat the last statements. Don't think of money for traveling here and there. Don't worry and don't be afraid of being alone. And don't be anxious about anything. Begin working and everything will go by itself. After the death, Gurudev, still seated in the lotus position, he was taken to Calcutta railway station and transported to Varanasi, where at Kedareshwar Mahadev Ghat, he was committed to the waters of the Ganga. The chest was lowered into the Ganga. Brahmachari Mahesh Yogi dived alongside and retained a touch of the precious container till it finally came to the rest on the riverbed. Reverently, he bowed and surfaced again, sharing the agony perceptible in the faces surrounding him. With his master's passing, Brahmachari Mahesh took leave of the monastery and retired to the caves of the Valley of the Saints in Uttarkashi, high in the Himalayas. It was in this remote and ancient place that Swami Brahmananda had found his guru and taken initiation into the mysteries of yoga. The destination he sought lay on the outskirts of the town, an ashram by the name of Sri Shankaracharya Gnan Mandir. Having arrived at Gnan Mandir, Mahesh committed himself to prolonged spells of deep silence. Where I stayed in a small ashram in Uttarkashi, the cave is like a very small basement under a room. The entrance is through an opening only big enough for one person to enter. Down there is quiet, no sound, cool in summer, warm in winter. Brahmachari Mahesh spent many months in solitude in his sandy cave. He pursued his sadhana, and in spite of the isolation, he began to entertain the notion of travel. He had a friend who came to visit, an extremely elderly monk who wore his hair so long that it trailed along the ground behind him. On hearing of the younger man's hankering for travel, the old man said, "This is holy ground. All the rest is just mud." On that note, the subject was firmly closed. However, Mahesh's wish to travel persisted. When I mentioned to him a few weeks later, he said, "I think you have been thinking of it for so long. Why not get rid of this thought?" And get rid of this thought means go there and come back and never think of it again. When he said that, this purpose of not returning or returning didn't come to my mind, but at least he responded to that idea which was coming to my mind. Go to Rameshwaram. Go to Rameshwaram. After an year and a half or so spent in seclusion at Gnan Mandir, Brahmachari Mahesh took to the road in order to follow his inspiration to visit South India. His destination was very close to Sri Lanka. After touring around the temples and holy shrines of Rameshwaram and other places in southern India, a stranger introduced himself and inquired, "Would you bring some of the wisdom of the Himalayas as to us?" The Brahmachari explained that he was unaccustomed to giving lectures but told the stranger where he might be contacted. The stranger returned, and during the following week, a series of lectures was held in his locality. Such was the interest generated by these talks that the local press was alerted and the further lectures were arranged. Mahesh Master Gurudev had many devotees in southern India who had grouped together in the city of Alleppey to found and dedicate to his name the Society for Spiritual Development. At nearby Cochin, arrangements were made for yagas, religious rituals, to be performed from 23rd to 26th October 1955. The assembly was estimated at over 10,000, and the star of the show, Maharshi Bala Brahmachari Mahesh Yogi Maharaj of Uttar Kashi, Himalayas. After many months of touring, he returned to southern India once more, this time using the city of Madras, where the seminar of luminaries was attended by over 10,000 people. As it drew to a close, the Maharshi felt inclined to ask those assembled there, why can't we spiritually regenerate the world through this technique? Apparently, his question drew a lot of applause, prompting him to arrange a day's extension to the festivities. The next day, January 1st, 1958, the Maharshi announced, the one aim of the spiritual regeneration movement is to provide a simple and easy method of meditation and infuse this system of meditation in the daily life of everybody everywhere on earth. To meet this end, this movement had been started to work for the construction of meditation centers in everywhere, in every part of human habitation. It was the concern of Gurudev to enlighten all men everywhere that resulted in the foundation of the worldwide spiritual regeneration movement in the year 1958, 5 years after departure of Gurudev. It was at Bangalore in the spring of 1958 that Maharshi became inspired to make his next move. One fine morning, I thoughtfully reviewed the work done and calculated how much time it will take for the whole world at this rate. And I found that it will take 200 years. Then I said, no, I must change my ways of work. Then I thought I must go to the most advanced country because the country is most advanced and the people of that country would try something new very readily. When I met some people in the morning, I said, I want to go to America. And they said, all right. Arrangements were made, but the trip to America had to be delayed whilst travel documents were obtained. During the wait, Maharshi made a relative short hop across the Bay of Bengal to Rangoon, the capital of neighboring Burma. An unexpected boost to his popularity came when the prediction of an aged Buddhist monk became known a year before. He had foretold that a great Indian yogi would visit Rangoon on Buddha Purnima Day. This prophecy brought forth visits from monks, high-ranking officials, and a large complement of local men, women, and children. This was the first clear indication that the Maharshi's teachings were capable of attracting people from outside. In the spring of 1958, Maharshi's tour of Southeast Asia included Malaysia, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Everywhere he went, he was greeted enthusiastically by people from all walks of life. Finally, the momentum of the tour took him to the island of Hawaii and from there on to America. Within 9 months of traveling, the interest shown in his practice of deep meditation was such that its future success seemed fairly well assured. I had one thing in mind, that I know something which is useful to every man. Therefore, no matter where I am, people will find in me the commodity that they want. With that confidence, I left India and I gradually came to United States. On January 12, 2008, his 91st birthday, Maharshi announced that his work in the world was over and he was going into silence. He didn't speak to a single soul after that day. On February 6th, which is less than a month later, Maharshi went into Mahasamadhi. So this is about Maharshi Mahesh Yogi. He had really bring meditation to this world to a different level. Transcendental meditation was greatly taken to the West in his presence, and you can visit his ashrams also in India. And this content which we listened was taken from a website, allmason.info. So it's wonderful to listen about this another wonderful master. You see his desire to leave home and then um, go with the Gurudev, and how he spoke about a complete surrender to his Gurudev was well explained here in his journey. And his master's message as well, when he left the body, he said, don't think of money for traveling here and there. You just go. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of being alone. Don't be anxious about anything. Begin working and everything will go by itself. So you see the message when it comes from a master, that don't think about anything, don't have any limitations. So such a powerful message from his master. And then he started his uh, his journey of teaching meditation to everyone. So indeed, he had really got meditation to a great level. Lot of people from the West connected to meditation thanks to this Maharshi Mahesh Yogi. Thanks, everyone. If anyone would like to share any experience, please go ahead and unmute yourself. Yes, Malatiji.
I would say while doing the meditation, there was a time for about a minute or two. I was very silent. There's no thought, no anything.
Yes, yes. It was very deep meditation today, Malatiji. I also witnessed it was quite intense.
Mm.
Wonderful. Great to hear that experience. Thank you. Yes, Vindhyaji.
Thank you, Ramgaru, for the wisdom sharing. And the music was so beautiful. It definitely took us to deep meditation. So thank you for that. And I had not heard of this Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, but it's very inspiring. I love the way it's short, but y'all captured the gist of the whole thing last time in Madhugarure. So this transcendental meditation, it's the same as what Shreyans Dagaji promotes, right? Is it that cyclic breathing?
No, they are different, Vindhyaji.
What is this then?
I have not practiced it. From little I know it. It is through Upadesha, where a mantra is given and then they are guided into meditation.
Oh, okay. I thought it was that breath work that you do. Okay.
May I tell you what it is, Ram?
Yeah.
I practice transcendental meditation.
Yes, please go ahead, Malatiji. Please share.
And yes, a mantra is given, okay? And you got to, start saying the mantra first first a little bit loud, and then take it inward and keep repeating and repeating and repeating it. Whether any thoughts come, just don't hold on to the thoughts. Let it come and let it go, okay? No disturbance. If there's disturbance, it doesn't really matter. Just continue saying the mantra. And they say about 20 minutes or more, minimum 20 minutes or more. But after a while, after about a week or so, you find your mind is going silent. The mantra stops, everything stops by itself. And your mind is very, very silent. in a very beautiful place.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Maltiji.
But it takes about a week or 10 days to get to that place.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there had been a lot of experiments that was done in US, particularly with transcendental meditation, that even caught, let's say, the curiosity of masses. They have done transcendental meditation experiments in big groups in schools, I think also in prisons, and they found positive impacts of it, and that was really helping the West to research more, and then even let's say share more of this transcendental meditation. And indeed, he became quite famous because Beatles, the rock band, maybe if you have heard of them, they were quite famous after they got connected to Maharshi Mahesh Yogi and started transcendental meditation. Indeed, this was taken to US and then across the world, thanks to this Beatles group, rock band group that have, let's say, become shishas of Mahesh Yogi and transcendental meditation. And they were in Rishikesh in his ashram. We were also there a few years ago in the same ashram where they were there, and visited all those places. And even the singer John Lennon was also one of, let's say, his students.
Thank you for sharing that, Ram Garu. Very interesting. I did not know at all. And as you were reading about how his guru was saying about, traveling and spreading and don't worry about money and everything, just go and things will fall in place. I was thinking of you and Madhu Garu for some reason. You've been traveling around and spreading. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vindhya Garu.
Thank you.
We all can do, I think there are various things one can catch through these masters' journeys, right? One is about how dedicated they were in whatever they did. And they really worked hard in their practices, living their regular life, staying in Himalayas, practicing so severely, and then at the same time coming out and doing such huge work by traveling and spreading. So I think there is a lot of inspiration for all of us here to take. Either it could be in terms of our sadhana, and also in regards with doing work in the outer world as well.
Actually, when you were reading about how when he started with his guru and it took him 2.5 years just to get in tune with him, I was just amazed at the dedication and surrender to guru. So thank you for.
Thank you. Yes, anyone else, please? Okay, then we'll end the evening session. So we meet back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Namaste. Yes, Simaji, you want to share something?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. It was so wonderful. I hope it works more and more on me also. Thank you.
Thank you. Most welcome. And Dr. Lingeshwari is writing, Transcendental became extremely popular in 70s and 80s. They came to our headquarter hospital and taught all. Oh, wonderful. See, it was quite famous everywhere in the world. Thank you. Thank you, Lingeshwari ji, for sharing this. Okay, namaste, everyone. I wish you all a wonderful day.